Hey everyone, this is your nurse Wina. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will share to you the presentation about infection control and preventing infectious diseases with NCLEX question and rationale. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel and follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok account. Let's go! What is infection control? It is not always possible to know which client may have infectious organisms. To reduce the chances that organisms in blood and potentially infectious organisms from other body tissues will be transmitted from the client to other individuals. So why is it important to know how do microorganisms spread? Number one is preventing disease. Organisms like bacteria and viruses are responsible for diseases. Knowing how they spread helps us implement effective strategies to prevent infections, whether through sanitation, vaccinations, or quarantine measures. Number two is through public health. Effective public health policies and practices depend on knowing how diseases spread. This knowledge can guide decisions on social distancing, mask wearing, and other measures during outbreak. Number three is control and treatment. Identifying how pathogens spread allows for targeted interventions. For example, if we know that a specific disease is spread through water, we can focus on improving water sanitation. Developing better hygiene for number four. Recognizing the spread patterns of microorganisms can lead to better hygiene practice such as hand washing, surface cleaning, and food safety, which help to reduce transmission. Number five, predicting and preventing pandemics. Understanding the spread of microorganisms helps in predicting potential outbreaks and preventing large-scale pandemic. As we saw during the COVID-19, this knowledge allows health authorities to respond more effectively. And then the last one is research and development. It informs the development of new treatment, vaccines, and diagnostic tools as researchers can tailor their work to target the specific ways that microorganisms spread. So what is transmission? So we have different types of transmission are used in addition to standard precautions for clients with known or suspected infections that are spread in one of three ways: by airborne, droplet, or by contact. So we have standard precaution. During standard precaution, you need to do constant hand washing. You need to wear the gloves, wear masks and goggles, especially if there is splashes of body. So what are those diseases that requires standard precautions? If you are dealing with sexually transmitted blood, if the patient has HIV or human immunodeficiency virus and hepatitis B. So what is airborne precaution? During airborne precaution, the healthcare workers wears N95 masks, and then the patient, they need to wear surgical masks, gowns and gloves, and they should be in a negative pressure room. 3Gs or gown, gloves, and goggles only if there is splashes of body fluid. So what are those diseases that requires airborne precaution? Don't forget the pneumonics, MTV, HMS, measles or rubella, TB, varicella or chickenpox, herpes zoster or shingles, MERS-CoV, and SARS. So next is the droplet precautions for body fluids. The patient and the nurse wear surgical masks. Private room can discontinue precaution after 24 hours of taking antibiotics, especially for meningitis. 3Gs with splashes of blood and body fluids, and during amniotomy, gown, goggles, and gloves. So what are those diseases under the droplet precaution? Spiderman, sepsis, scarlet fever, and streptococcal. Pertussis, parvovirus, and pneumonia. Letter I for influenza. Letter D for diphtheria. E, epiglottitis, rubella. Letter M for mumps, meningitis, and mycoplasma. A and N for adenovirus. Mode of transmission under contact or by touch. Constant hand washing is very important. Single-use or isolation gown. Clean gloves. No need for sterile gloves. Private room for the patient. 3Gs with splashes of body fluid. Keep dedicated equipment for client, especially thermometer, BP monitoring device, Remove gown and hand hygiene before exiting the room for staff and all the visitors. What are those diseases under contact precaution? Remember the mnemonics, Mrs. V. Multi-drug resistance for letter M. Respiratory infection for letter R. Skin infection like impetigo, scabies, and ringworm. Wound infection for W. Eye infection like conjunctivitis. Enteric infections like Clostridium difficile. Clostridium difficile won't die with alcohol. It needs to do hand washing. Are you anxious about your incoming NCLEX examination? Let's go and take a look some NCLEX question with their rationale related to infection control and prevention. Let's go! The nurse is providing a health teaching to the parent of a client with scabies. Which of the following information should the nurse include? Select all that apply. For the NCLEX, if it is select all that apply, you need to have all the correct answers. Be careful to answer NCLEX questions with select all that apply. Questions are asking health teachings. What is important for the patient with scabies? Scabies is a contact precaution, so by touch, always do constant hand washing, single-use or isolation room, clean gloves. The patient should be in a private room. 3Gs if there's a blood splashes or body fluid splashes, dedicated equipment for the client, and then remove the gowns and do hand washing before leaving or exiting the patient's room. In this question, what are the health teaching for the mother or for the parent of a client? We need to apply permethrin cream to all skin surface and then avoiding the area around the eye. So it's very important because of itchiness. Discard the client's stuff and animals, so it's not necessary to discard. The vector for the scabies is not a mosquito, so fumigation is not necessary. Treat all persons who have been in close contact with the client. Yes, because this is contact precaution. So wash the client's clothing and bed linens in hot water to eradicate the vector of scabies. For this question, the answer is letter A, D, and E. So next question is, the nurse plans care for a client admitted with measles. Which of the following interventions will the nurse include in the plan of care? Select all that apply. Always remember, during your NCLEX examination, you will encounter a lot of questions with select all that apply. So you need to practice more on this type of questions. So always remember that measles is under airborne precaution. So always remember the mnemonic MTV-HMS. So airborne, since it is an airborne, the healthcare worker needs N95 and then the patient needs surgical mask. And then gown and gloves, negative pressure room for the patient, and then only 3Gs if there's splashes of body fluids. So for this question under measles intervention that needs select all that apply, the answer is letter A, vaccination for susceptible family member. Yes, who are those susceptible family members? They are the old, the very old, and the very young. So apply calamine lotion to reduce itchiness. Place a tracheostomy tray at the bedside, so it's not necessary for the tracheostomy tray. Place the client in a negative pressure isolation room. Yes, it's necessary. Use N95 respirator mask during client call. So the answer is letter A, letter D, and letter E. So next question number 3. Which discharge teaching instructions should the nurse provide to the parents of a 3-year-old with group A streptococcal pharyngitis? Select all that apply. So what is the necessary for us to learn about the streptococcal? Streptococcal is under the droplet precaution. So discharge teaching instructions. What are the things that we need to inform to the patients or to the relative of a patient with streptococcal infection? So patients and nurse wear surgical mask, private room, can discontinue precautions after 24 hours of taking antibiotic. The doctor told you to have your antibiotic for 5 days. You need to finish the 5 days schedule for your antibiotic. So 3Gs with the splashes of blood and body fluids, and also during amniotomy. gown, goggles, and then gloves. So for this question, the answer is letter A, B, and D. Complete all antibiotics even if the child is feeling better. Yes, some people, they stop the antibiotic right after they notice that all the signs and symptoms disappear. But still, we need to finish the course of the antibiotic. So if it is until 7 days or if it is until 5 days, we need to finish all religiously. Cool liquids and soft diets are recommended. Yes, because it affects our pharynx. So it is necessary to have a cool liquids and soft diet for the meantime. Keep your child home from daycare for at least a week. The patient is no longer infectious. So no need to isolate the child for a week. Replace your child's toothbrush 24 hours after starting antibiotic. Yes, because the child's toothbrush, it is a good reservoir for the microorganisms. So if you are taking antibiotic but still you are using the same toothbrush which is infected, the microorganism will come and go, and then it's useless to treat for another 5 days or another 7 days if you are using the same toothbrush. So it should be replaced after 24 hours of taking the antibiotic. Throat lozenges may suit your child's sore throat. So no, throat lozenges is not applicable because it can cause choking or it is a choking hazard. So the correct answer is A, B, and D. So question number 4. A home health nurse is giving an infection control health teaching on pulmonary tuberculosis diseases or PTB to a group of home health aides. Which statement made by a home health nurse indicates an understanding about the mode of transmission of PTB? So means we are looking for a correct health teaching, looking for all correct answers. So first, let's take a look at the mode of transmission of pulmonary tuberculosis. So pulmonary tuberculosis included on the pneumonics MTV HMS, measles, TB, varicella, herpes zoster, MERS-CoV, and SARS. So it is airborne precaution. If it is airborne precaution, it is spread by contact. So since it's for the word contact, if it is airborne precaution, choices letter A is definitely wrong because it is contact precaution. If it is spread by contact with the client's soiled clothing and bed linen, also it's incorrect because it is under contact precaution. Letter C, it is spread by contact with the client's toilet eating utensils. So it is incorrect because it is spread by contact. So letter D, it is spread by small droplets that the client cough or sneezes into the air. If it is small droplets, it is airborne precaution. So the correct answer is letter D. And next question number 5. The nurse teaches a group of clients at the homeless shelter to transmission of hepatitis A. Which instructions should the nurse include as a primary precaution to prevent transmission? So if it is priority precaution to prevent transmission, it means from the word priority, that is the number 1 necessary precaution or the most important precaution to prevent transmission. So let's take a look. So always remember for the word hepatitis A, we have different types of hepatitis. We have hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. For the hepatitis A and E, it is always oral and fecal route. So it means that if we eat the food contaminated with hepatitis A, we can have hepatitis A disease. If you have a hepatitis A or E, you should do hand washing frequently. Hepatitis B is blood-borne product, placenta, and through semen or after sexual intercourse, you can have it if a person is contaminated with hepatitis B through their semen and vaginal discharges. So always have precaution. Hepatitis D can only be acquired if you have hepatitis B. So if you are a known hepatitis B carrier, you can have hepatitis D in the future. Hepatitis C, so if you receive a plaque and it is not properly screened for any infectious diseases, you can acquire hepatitis C. So let's take a look. What is the answer for this? So letter A, be sure to practice safe sex by using condom. So hepatitis A, safe sex using condom. Is it for hepatitis A or is it for hepatitis B? I think letter A is for hepatitis B. Don't share needles if you are injecting drugs. So if it is a blood or blood, hepatitis B also for letter B. Make sure you receive the hepatitis A vaccine and wash hands after toileting and before eating. So for the priority precautions to prevent transmission of hepatitis A, always do hand washing before and after eating and after toileting. So the correct answer is letter D. NCLEX question number 6. The nurse removes the personal protective equipment or PPE after completing a wound dressing change for a client in airborne transmission precautions. Which PPE should the nurse remove first? Okay, so we have donning and doffing. Donning for wearing and then doffing for removing. So for the doffing or removing, always remember the mnemonic GLO, GO, GO-MA. GLO for gloves, GO for goggles, GO for gown, and MA for mask. So the first thing you need to remove is your gloves, then followed by your goggles. The next one is your gown, and the last one to remove is your mask. So always remember the mnemonics GLO, GO, GO-MA. GLO, GO, GO-MA. So let's take a look. What is the answer for number 6? So for number 6, letter A is face shield or goggles. Gloves, yes. So always remember GLO, GO, GO-MA. So gloves is the first one to remove. And then gown, it should be the third to remove. And then the mask is the last. So the first one to remove, gloves. So number 7, NCLEX question. The nurse provides care in the labor and delivery department. During which procedure should the nurse wear protective goggles in addition to gloves? So in labor and delivery departments, possible contact or splashes with body fluids, it is necessary to wear the goggles in addition to the gloves. So in which procedure that it requires goggles for you to wear as a nurse? Changing a wet disposable bedpan. So let's take a look on other choices, which is the most important for you to wear the goggles. An intravenous line and sterilizing used instruments. So changing a wet disposable bedpan, inserting an intravenous line. We are not using goggles during intravenous line insertion. So definitely letter C is incorrect. Sterilizing used instrument. Yes, in sterilizing. So maybe you need because there is a possible splash of body fluid. But the most important is assisting during amniotomy because there is a possible splash of body fluid. Answer on this question is letter B. So NCLEX question number 8. The nurse is caring for a client with Clostridium difficile colitis. Which of the following infection control measures by the nurse are appropriate? Then again, select all that apply. And let's take a look. What is Clostridium difficile first? Clostridium difficile is a contact precaution and we need to use soap during hand washing and needed gloves, private room, and single-use gown. So the answer is for this question, so is it necessary to apply sterile gloves or is it necessary to wear clean gloves? So let's take a look later on. So let's say, ensure a surgical masks are worn by the staff in the client's room. So surgical mask, is it an airborne? Is it an airborne precaution or is it a contact precautions? Request that the client be assigned to a single room client. Use alcohol-based sanitizers for hand hygiene for letter D. For Clostridium difficile, is it necessary to use alcohol during hand washing? Wears a single-use disposable gown during client care. So is it important to use a single-use disposable gown? So let's take a look. What is the answer for this question? The correct answer for this question is letter C and letter E. Request that the client be assigned to a single room client Yes, the patient should be in a single room, not a shared room or in the ward with a multiple patients around him. Wear a single-use disposable gown during client care. So since it is a contact precaution to prevent reinfection or spreading the microorganisms to another. So that's all. For the conclusion and questions, always remember, preventing infections help us all stay healthy and happy. If you have any questions, write it down on the comment below. Thank you for watching. See you then on my next video. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel and follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok account. Good luck on your NCLEX examination.